What they do, all of my gram addicts, it's Orion, aka Brass Balls, with another deep dive tape stash. I got a gem in front of you, as I always do. But go check out my channel, Orion Hip Hop, where you can peep the previous episodes that are no longer available on my Instagram. You can peep them on my YouTube. Orion Hip Hop is the channel where you can peep all of that. Now let's get into this motherfucking tape right here. This is Mad Skillz, The Nod Factor. I can't remember if I got this at a thrift store or if it was one of the many tapes given to me by my dog, rest in peace, Johnny P. But it's definitely been in the stash for a minute, and it's about time that I bring it out and talk about it. And one of the reasons I'm bringing it up and talking about it is because we are close to ending the year 2023. Mad Skillz, who now just goes by Skillz, always does his yearly wrap-up. I think last year was his last one. I hope he drops another one. You know, Uncle Murder does dope wrap-ups, but I like Skillz as well, and he's the originator of that. So I would love to hear a 2023 Skillz wrap-up. That would be dope. The Nod Factor is the first single off of his debut album, From Where. Now, this particular track was produced by the incredible Beatnuts. And I'm just gonna say this about Mad Skillz' first album, From Where. It's got a lot of heavy hitter producers. Early J Dilla on 2 tracks, Large Professor, I think Sean J. Period did 3 tracks. Yeah, Clark Kent did the second single from the album, Move Your Body. So yeah, this album is mad slept on in my opinion, mad underrated, got a lot of gems. The one thing I will say that I didn't enjoy from the album was the very last song, Inherit the World, and it had more to do with what the hell was going on with that drum sequence. The snares were all over the place, and I was not feeling that. But one of the things that had me hype about this album was that back in the days, I had no idea who Mad Skillz was, but I remember seeing the advertisement for it, and the hand style font for his logo was so dope to me, and I was hoping that the album would have a graffiti related track. Unfortunately, it did not, so that was the second thing that disappointed me about From Where. But it is what it is, you know. Mad Skillz at the end of the day is a punchline-driven, heavy MC when it comes to that. He comes from the lineage of Lord Finesse, Big L. You know, that's what you're getting from a Mad Skillz track. So he never lets me down when it comes to dope punchlines. The other dope track on From Where was Unseen World, featuring, you know, all of the dudes from Super Friends, who I was hyped about that crew just off the track Phone Tag from Danger Mouth, one of the crew members, his particular album and stuff. So it was, you know, Phone Tag was one of those things that was going around the underground, making its rounds and stuff, and definitely had me hyped for a Super Friends album, which we never really got a full-fledged Super Friends album. And that's one of them things that I wish Lonnie B, Mad Skillz, Dr. Mindbender, Danger Mouth, all of them would have really put together a Super Friends album. That would be dope to hear an interview from him tapping into what happened there. But anyways, going back to the Nod Factor, it had a video. I saw it maybe once or twice on Rap City, but it wasn't on heavy rotation, and I didn't really see it on Yo MTV Raps at all. So I actually had to go back to YouTube to refresh my memory. Pretty dope video. Go check it out. One of the standout punchlines that comes to my memory from the Nod Factor is put your clothes on backwards if you feel like frontin'. I've always dug that one. And I'm like a black president because y'all ain't seeing me. That one didn't age too well given we had Barack, but it is what it is. You know what he meant at that time. It made perfect sense. Now, the B-side, Skillz in 95. This track was an exclusive joint. It was not on the album From Where, and it was produced by the great Large Professor. That's one of the things I will say about this tape that was cool to have, is that it had Skillz in 95, and that wasn't on the album. However, I wish this tape cassette single would have had instrumentals, maybe even an acapella, maybe even a remix to the Nod Factor from somebody. But it is what it is. Big Beat, Atlantic, they dropped the ball, and I think they dropped the ball in how they serviced this album From Where, because like I mentioned before, this is a very dope album, mad slept on. One of his best boom bap-ish type albums, because Skillz released a handful of albums after this that are quite dope, but I think this one has a certain 95 touch to it that I know all of my heads will love. So go check it out when you have a chance. It's available obviously on all the streaming platforms. And speaking of all the streaming platforms, my recent album, Bass, Brass, and Silver Slugs, is available on all the streaming platforms. Make sure to go check that out as well. Big shout out to all of y'all. This is Deep Dive Tape Stash episode 20 and the last one I will be doing for 2023. I can't wait to get into 2024 and hit y'all with more and more episodes. I got a lot of tapes to go. Peace.